Right, so technology expert Michael Brook joins us this morning to talk about 4G and, in particular, of course, the launch of the iPhone 5. Good morning to you, Michael.
Good morning.
Thanks very much for having a chat with us today. As I talk to you, I'm actually looking at a photograph from our local newspaper here in Cambridge, which shows people queuing up in the Grand Arcade shopping centre. And have probably been there, I don't know, since it probably opened this morning or last night, I don't know. There doesn't seem to be any tents. Queuing up for this iPhone 5. What's going on?
Well, I think it's a similar story here, actually. We're quite close to Regent Street, to the big Apple store there, and there's a huge queue outside there as well. Basically, people are really excited about this iPhone 5, and I think there are several reasons why they're excited, one of which is it's the kind of first time, really, in a long time, Apple have changed the form factor of the phone, so it's quite different in that respect, and there's quite a few updates to it as well. Historically, Apple's always had a 3.5-inch screen. This has got a 4-inch screen, which is more of a widescreen kind of movie-watching style affair. You've got a new chip, which is faster. You've got speedier Wi-Fi. You've also got, of course, the introduction of 4G as well.
Yeah, 4G has been really hitting the headlines here, certainly in Cambridge for the last couple of months or so, I'd say. I'm very confused about it, to be honest with you, and I wondered if you might be able to explain in layman's terms what this means, because I can't quite get my head around mobile broadband.
Okay, so 4G is the next iteration of 3G, so you're probably aware of 3G, which is high-speed data, and at the time was touted as being broadband speed. Now, obviously, broadband has rocketed on and is much faster, so 3G looks a little slow. Now, 4G, on the other hand, is essentially the next stage, the broadband speed data for your phone. So it's a pure data network, which allows you to send attachments on emails, download music much quicker. So I believe you're looking at, say you're downloading a track, it would have taken a minute to download. Now it will take more like 10 seconds. It's basically 5 times faster than 3G, which is a huge leap. And it has numerous benefits. One of the main benefits, actually, isn't really just about speed, it's about reach of broadband, and allowing the networks to get broadband to rural areas that don't have the infrastructure to have kind of traditional broadband through cables. There is one issue, of course, which is that it's only available on one network at the moment, which is Everything Everywhere's EE network.
Yeah, okay. Just without sort of making my head explode, you know, with the progression of internet, we had obviously the dial-up lines, which came through your phone line, which I guess some people are probably still on somewhere. And then the broadband thing came in, and it was a different thing, wasn't it? So it's a different line, and now we've got the fibre optic cables, for example. That all makes sense to me. So if you improve the hardware, then the speed of the broadband can improve. The thing I can't get my head around about 4G is what is the difference, and why didn't we have 4G right at the very start? Because this is all coming across the airwaves, so, you know, why wouldn't we just have ultra-fast connectivity from day one?
Right, that's quite a complex question, so I'll answer it as simply as I possibly can. Essentially, it's all about bandwidth and frequencies, and the allocation of that by Ofcom, who control all of these things. Now, they were due to put the 4G frequency range, if you will, for auction at the end of the year. What Everything Everywhere have done is basically put a lot of money and a lot of effort into creating their own 4G network over the current infrastructure, which can be done. The other networks could have done it, but chose not to. And that means that they're able to launch earlier. In fact, we are way behind in terms of 4G. There's 40 to 50 countries outside the UK that have 4G already, 4G speeds. So it technically has been possible for a while, but Ofcom have dragged their heels, shall we say, a little when it comes to releasing the spectrum, the frequency range that needed to allow it to happen. So hopefully that's answered your question.
Yeah, no, it has. Thank you for that. And does it cost more than 4G?
Well, no pricing's been released as yet. It's obviously, as a new technology, it needs to pay for itself. There will be a premium to it. But I'm reassured by EE's network that it's not going to be a huge hike in price. It's going to be slightly more, but a reasonable price, apparently.
Yeah, because the worry is, I mean, obviously a lot of people are on data packages, aren't they? But you could use that up a lot quicker on 4G, couldn't you?
Yeah, but I mean, these days a lot of contracts, unlimited data isn't really something that's rare. So I think it's worth it when you're looking at something like this. These people who buy into 4G are going to be people who want to consume a lot of things over the broadband, over the 4G network very, very quickly, and want that kind of always on connectivity. The same kind of people, I think, who are likely to say, right, well, I don't want to be restricted by X amount of data. I want unlimited. So, and it's not really expensive to get unlimited data these days.
Yeah, and to normal man on the street, what does it mean? If you've got a 4G phone, or I presume you can get them for your connectivity for any device then, presumably, like iPads and all that kind of stuff as well?
The iPad, I believe, is actually not 4G ready, but I may be incorrect there, but I think that was because it was before we had launched it in the UK. The current iPads, I don't think, will run on the 4G network, but I may be wrong there.
Okay, but what does it mean to, let's say because I've got a 3G iPhone at the moment, I want to change to a 4G. What's the benefit to me?
The benefit is speed. It's about the speed at which you can do things. So, for example, for business users who want to send a lot of data and in order for them to be efficient, need to send it quickly, this is the thing to go for, because you can fire off really big attachments, download big files to your device. I use 3G a lot to download big video files, for instance, because of part of the work I do. And that is quite a long-winded process. Whereas 4G, they'll come down really quickly. I can go, yeah, that's great, fine, keep going with the shoot, great. It will make a big difference to business. Now, for consumers, it's going to be a big difference as well. If you download movies to your phone, if you download music to your phone, it's going to come down a lot quicker. So, whereas it took an hour or so to download a film in the past on 3G, it will take more like 10 minutes. So it's a much more kind of and these days it's all about getting things right now, and you want things, you want them right now, and you don't want to wait an hour for a film. You want to start watching it now. So it's that ability to be able to get things at the flick of a switch.
And we still have this issue, certainly where I live in a slightly more rural area of East Anglia, that in certain places I still cannot get 3G. So are we going to have this issue with regards to coverage that people are going to just explode about once they buy these devices?
Well, initially, I believe it's 70% coverage with 70% coverage by the end of 2013, and 2014, 98% population coverage for 4G. So it's going to be a slightly kind of what shall I say, kind of a rollout that will take a little while, but ultimately by the end of 2014, E will have rolled out to 98% of the UK. And it's worth adding that actually the other networks are going to be behind that, because they're obviously starting later. So there's kind of, they're already behind the curve a little. Yeah,
got you. And is there going to be a 5G and a 6G?
I've no doubt there will be. Yeah, it's not something that's come on under my radar yet. 4G we've been talking about for a few years, but I've no doubt that there'll be the next iteration of high-speed data networks coming and being talked about over the next couple of years.
Yeah. And iPhone 5, is that going to be something you're going to be going for, Michael?
Yeah, I've pre-ordered it. Yeah. Yeah.
So when do you get yours?
Well, I'm supposed to get it today, but I'm not sure whether I'm going to or not. We'll have to see.
We're going home early.
yeah, just waiting in for the postman.
Yeah, and in terms of technology at the moment, Michael, anything else that's on the radar that's exciting you at the moment?
It's a quiet time in terms of technology, other than 4G and mobile. And mobile is the biggest thing in terms of technology, really. Everything kind of is almost like the mobile is becoming the hub, the technology hub of everything. So things that are happening in mobile are probably the most exciting things. The last big thing that everyone got excited about was 3D. One thing that is exciting, I think, actually, is the next generation of 4K TVs, which are super high def, basically. So even more, amazing resolution. So there's some really cool stuff out there. It's one of those periods where you get some years where everyone's waiting for a big announcement, and the iPhone 5 was a big announcement for this year. Yeah. And we'll have to see what else comes out. There's a few other neat devices, but yeah, I think next year we'll look to next year and see if there's a few more exciting things launching then.
Good stuff. Michael Brook, technology expert. Absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks very much for chatting it through with us this morning.
Thank you.